The best talent shows around the world have seen some amazing magic acts. And more than just a magic trick, the great magicians are the ones who tell us a delightful story. Hello and welcome back, and today we're gonna figure out the secrets behind the world's top 10 famous magic tricks. So, let's get started. At number 10, the famous cups and balls trick. Matt Franco is one such magician who can amaze anyone in the world with his famous personality-driven magic acts. He once performed a trick on a talent show using 3 glasses and 3 balls that kept repeatedly disappearing. Using his amazing storytelling skills, he moved glasses around the table, showing few tiny balls appearing and disappearing under those glasses. Finally, he ends his performance by making 3 tennis balls to appear from within the glasses. So, how did he do it? Well, here's the secret. This act is similar to the famous cups and balls trick, and the trick lies in the moment where Matt shows the first glass is empty. Yes, not all glasses were empty to begin with, and he constantly picked up new balls and exchanged glasses under the table to make this act a success. For instance, at the start, Matt had 3 glasses stacked on top of each other. Here, only the bottom glass, which he showed to everyone, was empty, while the other 2 glasses stacked at the top each had a tiny ball inside it. Now, if you observe carefully, he first quickly puts those 2 top glasses on the table without showing it to anyone, as they each had a ball hidden inside. So this setup makes the sequence of balls appearing and disappearing thereafter easier to understand. Thereafter, in one of his moves, he even makes a ball disappear out of thin air. Here, if we slow it down, you can see it's a simple sleight of hand move. The ball is now in his left hand, hidden behind the table. This way, he manipulates the balls in various ways to make them magically appear and disappear in the act. Moments later, when he's done his tricks involving the tiny balls, if you see here, during the rare few moments when his hands were behind the table, he pulls another glass from behind and switches them with those on the table. For instance, in this frame, using his left hand, he gets rid of the glass behind the table and instantly pulls out another glass to create the illusion that it's the same glass. Now, these switched glasses were a perfect setup for the final reveal. Yes, they each had a tennis ball inside them, which he finally reveals at the end to create the amazing ball transformation effect. At number 9, Sacred Riana's Zombie Box Illusion. Now get ready to be freaked out, because this one's the most anticipated act of all the acts performed by the highly talented Sacred Riana. In her finale act on Asia's Got Talent, she brings a Pandora box which is placed at the center of the stage. After confirming that the box is completely empty and that there is nothing around it, she goes on with her magic ritual. Then, all of a sudden, a zombie appears from inside the box. And what do we see? One by one, she conjures up a dozen of zombie-like performers from that small box. Then she gets inside the box, and when the zombies open the box to look out for her, she's nowhere to be seen and the box is totally empty. Finally, she appears behind Angoon and scares the hell out of her. So, how did the zombies come out of nowhere? Well, here's the secret. Obviously, the zombies which came out of the box are all her assistants. But where exactly do they come from? The secret here lies in that huge wall placed behind the back of the box. Also, if you see carefully, the wall has small squares which make up its design, and the color of the box from where the zombies appear also matches with the color of that wall. And with that wall design, there is one small square which can be opened and closed like a flap, and this square is the one which allows the zombies to enter the box. Here in this frame, you can even see that the square's opening is not closed properly, which confirms the fact that there's a secret passage behind. So, before their arrival on stage, all the zombies were waiting behind the wall, and then, one by one, through that opening in the wall, they get inside that box. Also, if you notice, the square is aligned parallel to the box, exactly behind its backside. This conceals the secret opening when looked from the front side of the stage. Now you'd think, how come the audience didn't notice their feet while they enter the box? Well, to make this possible, once the flap is opened, there's an assistant behind the wall who places a narrow wooden bridge with a similar design, which connects the wall and the box, and this allows the zombies to easily enter the box, thus hiding them in the process. And now you all know it, how the zombies came out of nowhere, and that nowhere was the secret opening. Once all the zombies were on stage and performing their usual scary act, Riana goes inside that zombie box and disappears. Well, even this you must have got it. Riana disappears from that secret passage at the back of the box and finally appears at the end to scare them all. In addition, the below facts also make this act look perfect. Once the zombies went on stage to look out for Riana, here you can see them unlocking the wheels and moving the box back and forth. This tells us how the box was firmly fixed onto the floor and didn't move an inch while the zombies were getting into the box at its back. And once they unlocked it and moved the box close to the wall, one of the zombies removed the bridge and threw it behind the wall. Also, the smoke, which you could see covering the whole stage, was done to make it look great, but at the same time prevented the shadows of those zombies from being seen as they crossed the bridge. Finally, notice how the stage was set up for this act. There's the Pandora's box in the center surrounded by 8 giant screens. Also, the design of that box is similar to all those screens. This was done to create an optical illusion, which made it difficult for the audience and easier for Riana to distract them in the process. So a lot of admiration goes to Riana for her amazing skills and mind, which made this act look quite horrifying. At number 8, the shrinking card illusion. Ben Hart once performed an incredible trick on Britain's Got Talent where he first takes out a deck of cards and places the topmost card back into the pocket. Thereafter, he magically makes the cards smaller and smaller before they simply become dust, which he then blows into the air. So, how did he shrink the cards to dust with such ease? Well, here's the secret. Except for the first time shrinking of the deck, Ben secretly pulls out the other smaller decks from his pocket. That's the reason why he kept the topmost card inside his pocket. Now, coming to the first time shrinking of cards, the Jack of Clubs at the top is a gimmick card. Rest all cards below it is a smaller deck, exact half of its size. Also, the gimmick card has a half-sized Jack stuck on its backside, and he only had to fold the gimmick card in half to create the shrinking card illusion. Now, for the rest of the trick, each time he pulled out that regular-sized card. With the help of it, he was transferring the smaller decks into his hand before revealing it to everyone. For instance, every time he put his hands inside the pocket, he was transferring the bigger deck into the pocket and pulling out the smaller ones before magically turning it into dust. At number 7, the mysterious mind-reading trick. Colin Cloud, the magician known for his amazing mind-reading tricks, performed a trick on America's Got Talent where he solves a murder mystery right before it happens. Here's what he did. Colin first invites Simon on stage and tells him to sit on a bench. He also tells the audience to think of any naughty memory in their mind. Thereafter, he tells Mel B to randomly pick an audience member and invites her to the stage. He then tells her to write any reason to kill Simon onto a piece of paper. In between, he also tells Simon to pick any other audience member and then correctly guesses her memory. Colin then asks the audience member on stage to pick a knife from a stack of 5 knives and then correctly guesses the color of that knife.
Have taken the white knife.
He then invites Mel B onto the stage to stab the selected knife into Simon's chest. Fortunately, the knife turns out to be a fake rubber knife. Finally, he reveals that the plaque engraved onto the bench where Simon sat also had the same reason for murder which the girl wrote onto the paper. As it turns out, the remaining 4 knives on that stack were all real, which stunned everyone around. So, how did Colin read the mind of 3 viewers and eventually save Simon? Well, here's the secret. Obviously, Colin is an expert mentalist and uses mind trickery, which is similar to a magic trick or sleight of the hand. Coming to the part where Simon randomly selects a girl and reads her mind,
This dog has bitten you on your butt.
Which also matched with the memory of the man sitting in front of her. Here, the 2 offstage audience members were stooges and also in on this trick. To confirm the same, you can see how Simon wanted to choose from a different group of the audience. However, Colin doesn't allow it and points in the same direction for almost 5 to 6 seconds. Also notice how he refuses to go back and point to his right side, and only finishes his sentence at the moment when he's pointing in the very same direction as that stooge and stops. That's how he forced Simon to select the stooge, as he already knew what she was thinking. Otherwise, how could anyone randomly guess that a person was bitten by a dog on the butt while camping? Now, coming to the audience member on stage, while she was not a stooge. However, she was completely forced to follow instructions and play along to help complete the act. But how did Colin predict her name and profession?
Kirsty. Yes.
Well, there are multiple ways to fool her into the trick, and dual reality is more likely. Here, the piece of paper handed to her had instructions to play along rather than just think of anything. It also asked her to fill in her name down and what she does. Also at this moment, you can see the paper isn't blank and that there's something already written over it. Here's what those few lines look like, and would force her to write down all the information that Colin wanted. Now, when the girl puts the paper down, he could have glimpsed her details. Another way could be that there was a camera installed in the lamppost which captured her writings. The assistants would then read her text and tell Colin through the earpiece. However, the lamppost scenario seems a bit too far-fetched. Colin then correctly predicts her motive behind killing Simon. Here, Colin wanted us to believe that the girl wrote the motive, which read, "He stole my entire collection of Justin Bieber CDs," onto the paper. Here's the reason why the paper note was switched and that she didn't write the text. She spent a lot of time reading the paper, and also, if you notice, the handwriting was too perfect for someone writing mid-air on a thin piece of paper without any back support for the paper. Coming to the knife, how did Colin predict the girl's knife? Well, to begin with, the first time around when Colin shows the knife, they're all straight and real knives. However, a few moments later, when Kirsty reveals the knife, you can see how curvy or bent the knife is compared to the straight ones. So, the white knife was replaced somewhere during the trick. Now, during this moment, when he covers the tray with a black screen, here you can see him hitting the tray once he puts down the screen cover. Yes, the tray had a pocket or conceal section, the knife is internally retractable, and the tray was designed in a way which made the fake white knife to switch with the real one when he hits the knife tray. Also, there was a written instruction on the back of that black screen, which forced Kirsty to select the fake white knife and to choose one out of the 5 stickers, all having the same murder motive in case something goes wrong. Mel B then stabs Simon with that fake white knife. Finally, when Colin goes behind the black screen, he removes all the written instructions, switches the knife from fake to real again, picks up another paper note from the table which had the murder motive, and then reveals a plaque on the bench which also matched the murder motive. So this is how Colin solves the mystery and eventually saves Simon. At number 6, Girl on a Sword Trick. Criss Angel asks the girl to be his volunteer for the sword trick, to which she agrees. He then makes her unconscious through his magical spell. Afterwards, few spectators lift her and place her back on top of 4 swords. Criss then takes away 3 of the 4 swords, and what do we see? The girl is in the air, balanced on just the 1 remaining sword. How is this possible? Well, you must have all guessed it by now. That 1 sword is where all the secret lies. If you see carefully, after all the 4 swords are placed upright, and when this girl is about to be placed on the swords, there is a change in camera angle at exactly this moment. And yes, the spectators are also in on this trick. Nah, not again. Now, during this camera change, a mechanism is placed beneath the girl which looks like this. Under the girl's clothes, there's a solid support, and the sword that remains is fitted into that support. Now this support system goes through that sword into the table which is attached to the floor. So this whole mechanism forms a strong support system which holds the girl easily in the air. This creates the illusion as if the girl is indeed floating in the air. At number 5, teleporting a dollar bill. From showcasing his skills on America's Got Talent to becoming one of the most successful YouTubers, Colin's Key surely knows how to play the game of magic. In his audition act a few years back, Collins brings along a pack of chips on stage. He then borrows a dollar bill from Howie and gives it to Howard to read the unique serial number printed on it and writes it on a board. Finally, he burns the dollar bill and magically teleports it from his hand into that pack of chips. When the pack was opened, a dollar bill was found inside of it. On confirming the unique serial number, the bill exactly matched Howie's bill to end this amazing illusion. So, how did Collins teleport that dollar bill? Well, before revealing the secret, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications of our new video uploads. Now, let's quickly get to the secret. Well, the trick here lies in the sequentially numbered bills, and the $2 bills were already set up before the trick. If you notice, all the brand new bills in a 100-note bundle are sequentially numbered except the last few digits. So before this trick, he took out 2 bills from the bundle. In this case, the 2 bills had the last 3 digits numbered 432 and 482. Now, to make the serial numbers to exactly match, he only had to alter the digit 8 and turn it into 3. Now, using a sandpaper, he turns that 8 into a 3, and now he had 2 bills with the exact same serial number. He then folds both of the bills together to make it look similar, and then puts one of the bills inside the pack of chips and seals it using a double-sided tape. The other duplicate bill, he had it concealed in his pocket. Now, all this he had prepared before the trick started. So the way it was done during the trick was, he borrows a bill from Howie, then, using a quick sleight of hand, switches it with the bill he had prepared before the trick. If you notice, this was the reason he made the serial number to be read after he made the switch, and then he had all the control. Thereafter, the camera shows the bill's serial number, and then he proceeds by burning off the dollar bill. But now you know it. That snack bag already had a duplicate bill with the same serial number printed on it, which he finally reveals to end this amazing act. At number 4, the Tic-Tac-Toe trick. Apart from being an amazing NFL player, John Dorenbos has also excelled the art of magic. On America's Got Talent, The Champions, the magician displayed his impressive skills, which involved a game of tic-tac-toe. Here's what he did. He starts off the act by bringing a box filled with pieces of paper, and each piece had a word written on it in different colored markers about what it takes to be a champion. He then asks each of the 3 judges, except Howie, to randomly pick a piece of paper from that box. Thereafter, on stage, he plays the game of tic-tac-toe with Howie, which ultimately results in a draw. He then asks the other judges, Simon, Heidi, and Mel B, to reveal their words to the audience. Finally, he flips over that game of tic-tac-toe which he and Howie had played on stage, and to everyone's surprise, the pictures at the backside of the game exactly added up to match those 3 judges and their colored words which they had randomly picked. So, how did John correctly predict the judges' random selection? Well, here's the secret. The trick consists of 2 parts, one where the judges pick their choices, and 2 where John and Howie play the game on stage. Coming to the first part, the trick lies in how the box is designed. Inside the box are 4 triangle compartments, and each compartment is just a couple of inches deep, as you can see here. Also, John tells the judges to not look inside the box while they pick their piece of paper. Now, if you observe the assistant carefully, he holds the box high enough so that the judges can't reach all around the box, but only down along the edge that was leaned towards them. This forces them to take a paper from a specific area of the box. Since every piece of paper in each of the 3 compartments had the same word in the same color, John got exactly what he wanted them to pick. That is, courage in blue, hard work in red, and heart in black, which was revealed at the end. But what about the 4th compartment? Well, here, only the 4th compartment inside the box had a mix of random words from the audience. So John was actually right when he told the audience that the random words were actually in the box, and then he pulls that bunch out to convince everyone. Now, coming to how the tic-tac-toe game was set up. Well, here, the first move played was a key one, and John intentionally played the first move with O. Then he was in charge of the game the whole time. Both of them had 3 choices. Howie only selected the position. After that, John had 3 X's to choose from the stack, and that was John's freedom. All John had to do was remember where to put his O's. Now he carefully places his O's, knowing what Holly's reaction would be with the X's. John would always make sure he selected the correct picture. For instance, with the way the cards were stacked, he could always manipulate 3 rows or columns in order by picking from the back or front of the stack. And this is how he correctly predicts the 3 magical words. At number 3, the floating glass trick. Tanba, the Japanese magician, once performed a trick on Britain's Got Talent where he pours liquid from the bottle into the glass. Thereafter, he releases the grip on the glass as the glass magically floats in midair to amaze everyone around. So, how did he do it? Well, here's the secret. The trick lies in a transparent thin wire attached to both the bottle and the glass. And here's how the wire mechanism is created. One end of the wire has a small metal weight and the other end of the wire has a hook. There's also a small clip placed on that wire towards the metal part. Coming to the glass, it's a gimmicked glass, as it also has a thin, transparent wire running right across its middle. Now, to make this illusion possible, the metal end of the wire goes inside that bottle, while its other end is hooked on that thin wire inside the glass. The clip is attached towards the bottle's mouth to make the lift possible. Here in this frame, you can even see the hidden wire mechanism toward the bottle's mouth. And this is how Tanba makes the glass to magically float in the air. Thereafter, he unhooks the wire and keeps the glass back in its place to end this amazing illusion. At number 2, Ghost Girl Trick. Josephine Lee, the beautiful contestant magician on Britain's Got Talent, in her performance showed quite a few tricks. But the part of the trick where she displays a ghost girl really stood out. Here you can only see her legs, while her upper body is totally invisible. So, can you make out how Josephine performed this trick? Well, here's the secret, and it's quite obvious. The ghost girl you see is actually Josephine's assistant, who has bent her body with her hands inside the table. Also, the part of the body just above her hips is actually a special mannequin-like dress, created using baggy clothes and other items. And that's the reason she walked away resembling a ghost. So finally, moving on to the last trick on our list, flying in Rio. There was quite a buzz all around Rio when Dynamo decided to perform this trick. In this trick, Dynamo decided to amaze the people of Rio with his unique skills of levitation. Here, Dynamo can be seen flying in the air, in front of the famous statue of Jesus Christ. Since the place was all crowded, most explanations you must have seen for this trick revolves around the use of stooges, ropes, wires, and all. But we have some other explanation for this trick. Here, the flying levitation performed by Dynamo uses a very important principle of physics. Since Dynamo was in the middle of a huge crowd, and the place was also at high altitude, use of any rope and wire mechanism is quite difficult to execute at this place. Instead, he used the principle of magnetic levitation, which we can nowadays see in the electronic devices and gadgets. And this is how the magnetic levitation works. As most of you already know, when an electric current passes through a wire, it behaves like a magnet. This is called the magnetic effect of electric current. Also, a current-carrying coil of an insulated wire wrapped around a piece of iron is called an electromagnet. The power of this electromagnet can be increased by increasing the number of turns of the coil or by increasing the flow of current through the coil. And this concept is exactly what Dynamo used to perform this trick. And now, it must be clear, a magnetic field setup was laid underneath Dynamo. To start off the trick, he simply reaches the place with the magnetic field around, and then the mechanism is started and controlled by one of the members. As we know, like poles of magnet repel each other. So when an electric current is passed through the magnetic setup, the magnetic pole created was the same as the magnetic pole under the magnetic shoes worn by Dynamo. Now the secret becomes even clearer. As the intensity of the electric current gradually increased, simultaneously, the repulsion effect also increased, which created the belief that Dynamo is levitating in the air. Also, the limitation of magnetic field allows Dynamo to levitate only till a certain height in the air. And as the intensity of the current decreased, repulsion effect also decreased. So after flying and shocking the audience around him, he slowly gets down and walks away, leaving the crowd in a real thoughtful situation. So guys, hope you got the secrets behind some of the world's most famous magic tricks. Which one out of the 10 tricks did you like the most? And name any other magic trick you would like us to reveal. Tell us in the comments below. Do like and share this video with your friends on social media. For more such amazing things, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And finally, thanks for watching.